suppose if I want to declare a object, now how can you declare the object?
No, no
How
idea.
can, no idea. So what is an object?
Yeah, so for example, you want to create a car, then you would have created an object, and you can, let's say it is Ford, then you can create a Tata from it. So you're creating an object with all those properties within it. What is the color, what is the mileage, and all that stuff. So you create an object like that.
Okay, so how do we create the object?
So, I mean, how do you create the
This is
object in the sense like, you
suppose if I'm in the Visual Studio in the C sharp, suppose if I go for the a simple console app project. Okay, so I'm just creating a simple console app project, and this is how your Visual Studio look like. This is how you when you create the new console app project, your file look like this only. Okay, now say now suppose if I want to create a new object, so how can I create a new object here? It's just basically if I say suppose uh, car A equal to new car. Okay. Then now here, this is how you create an object. This is there is a car class. Suppose there is a car class, and I have created an object of this class. Now this is a you can say syntax of creating the object. Now what in this statement, what is an object? What is object in this?
what is object in what car is the object.
Okay. Now suppose the say now what is A?
So you are creating an instance of it.
Okay. So what is an instance? What is that instance is that thing instance?
Now
Now
using
suppose
that, for example, you can make a dot color or something like that. So
okay.
you can add color.
Okay, now suppose there is a class. Okay, now when I make the object, if suppose I'm a layman and uh, you want to give no give your lecture about object, that what is an object and what is reference to the object. So how can you say to me that this is an object, this is reference to the object, and what? How can you explain me? Suppose if you I want you to explain me.
Saying if I have to create an object.
I want you can say give me lecture on object because I am a layman. I don't know what is object, what is reference to the object. So can you explain me? Just explain me so that I can understand that what is object and what is reference to the object. Okay, let me explain. If you don't understand, just let me know. Now, when we do this, when we use the new keyword means that we have creating a object. Okay, now when say car A, new car. Now suppose I will just give you the knowledge. Now when you create the new, it will create a you can say create a object in the memory. It's a object in the memory. Suppose new car. Now this is new car. Now where this is lying, I don't know. In my memory, where this is lying, I don't know. So for that we have A. A is reference to the object. That A is referring to the that memory location where that object is lying. So A is not an object, A is reference to the object. This is an object. When I say new, that means it will create an object of the class, particular class, and A. That means A is pointing towards that object. A is referencing to the object. Most people confuse that this is the object. No, this is not an object. This is a reference to the object. Now, if you see, when you are suppose 10 kilometers from Pune, or you can say 10 kilometers from your London city, so that milestone is a reference. That milestone is not a object, is not at all an object. It's a reference to the object that that city is 10 kilometers away from this point. It is pointing towards that city. Same way here, car A. A is the reference to the object. It is not at all an object. Okay, so this is how you will convey your message to others so that it can be easy for others to understand. Now, I don't know whether you know this concept or not, but this is how you can understand, or you can say your words to others so that others can understand that what is an object and what is reference to the object. Now, I think so that it will be clear to you that what is an object and what is reference to the object. Yeah, Pavan?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think so that most of the people don't know, and if I'm not wrong, that you before that you don't know this.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how. That's why I will start from the basics because I know that some things are some points are there. I don't need 100% oops in this. If you say oops, object oriented programming and structure, no, I don't need 100%, but I need 40% concept to be clear. The first thing is the object. This is the main concept. Object and object reference. Okay. So you know how to install Visual Studio.
Yeah,
You have installed the Visual Studio 2022.
yeah, I do have. Yeah,
Okay. So you have which version you have like community version or what version you have installed?
yeah, community thing.
Okay, that's a good thing you have, and you have installed the all the parts. I think so. Whatever the
Mm-hmm.
things are required. So
Yeah.
okay, now okay, I will just cross it. Okay, so that's the Visual Studio setup. Now, if I run this, now just look at the thing that you have installed. Whatever the things I have my system, I have my on my system. This is a Visual Studio installer. It will be clear to you that just remember that what points you have to install. Just give me
Mm-hmm.
2 minutes so that it will be easy for you. Okay, now it has installed. Mm. Now say close. Yeah, suppose this is the thing we have installed. I will see modify. Mm, this is not the one, I think so. This is the one. Now, just .NET desktop development, then ASP. Dot and web development. Okay, these two things has to be compulsory. All other things are not, but these two things, .NET desktop development and ASP. Dot and web development. These two things have to be compulsory so that you can open uh, your Visual Studio. Okay, now you already see that how I made a new project. Okay, now I will go with the basic thing. Now you see that static. What is this static and you can say non-static? What is this mean? Suppose I will make a one more function. Say public void send. email, some function, send email. Now, wo- now you clearly see that I am not using the word static. So what this static and what this non-static stuff? So can you tell me something about this?
And like I said, I've used it long back. So static means that, you can't call the variable or something outside that function or something like that. So
Mm,
there is some differences like that, which I'm not able to recollect.
yeah, okay. Now suppose, mm, first we go with the first concept, that is local variable, or you can say global variable. Okay. Now what is local variable and global variable? Suppose uh, I will make one more function, say public static void sum all. Okay. Now suppose if I say int I equal to 100. Okay. Now I have declared this variable int I. This is known as global variable because the scope of this I variable, the scope of this variable is inside this function only. It cannot be accessed here or any other function. So this is known as local variable. Okay. Local variable, the scope of local variable is inside the function only. Okay. So it cannot be accessed by send email. It cannot be accessed by main function. So this is a, you can say local variable. Now suppose if I declare static int y equal to 10. Okay. Now this is known as global variable. Why global variable? Because this variable can be accessed by this. Suppose if I say int h equal to 10 and say int say x equal to 90, or say mm, say console dot write line h into y. Now y can be accessed over here. Okay. Y is the global variable, so I can access this here. But suppose now here in this function I say int g equal to 10 and say console dot write line g into y. Okay. Now I can access here as well. Okay. Now suppose there is one more variable int d equal to 60. Okay. Now I will say console dot write line x into d. Now it is giving me an error. Why? Just try it.
Yeah,
Why?
so you have mentioned that as not as a global variable. So
D is a global
make it
variable.
static.
Pardon?
If you make it as static int d,
Yes, that's the thing. The thing is, static function can use only static variable. Okay, but if you see, this is my non-static function. I can access G as well as D. It will not give me any error. So this means non-static function can access both. You can say static as well as non-static. So these are, I know these are the basic things, but we should know about these things as well because it will help us in the, you can say, when we do for the framework, when we're going for the framework, it will help us there. Okay. Now, say, mm, so local variables can be static, can be in static function as well as in non-static function. Here it says local variable, it is inside the, you can say your static, non-static. This is inside this. So local variables can be in static function as well as in non-static function. Okay. Now suppose, uh, so, and the thing is, I have already told you that static function can access only static variables. They cannot access non-static. As this function cannot access this. Okay. Now, and one thing more, static function can access only static function. Now, this is a static function. Now, say I say sum all. Okay. Now, there is no error as these both are static. Static function can access static function. But suppose if I say send email, now it is not giving me any help, or I will just say copy this and paste it over here. Say, so it will give me an error. It says that something error is there, that it will not run. Okay. So static function can access only static function. But suppose if I send email, this is a non-static function. Now I want to access this static function, say sum also, I can access it. Okay. Why I'm telling you this static and non-static things, you will get to know when I move forward that why I'm, this is a very good concept in object, that what is the thing when we create the object, what will we do. Okay. So that's why I am first giving you the introduction about static and non-static. Now you see that static function can access only static function, and the same way, but the non-static function can access non-static as well as static function. There is no rule in that. Okay. Now say suppose, mm, you know something about arrays.
Mm-hmm.
You know something about arrays.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So suppose, mm, suppose I will just delete all this, or I will make a new class. You can add new class by going to your project and say add. Now, suppose if I want to run this console.writeLine, or I want to say what the thing is printing. Now say you have to run this, just click on this button. Now it will run, and it will display h into y with 10 into d, so 100. So that is h into y, 10 into I, yeah, the something is there, that some also it will give you something. Okay. Uh, yeah, 10 into 10, 100. That's why. Now suppose if I want to print something, that answer is, okay. Now If I run this again, just close this, run this again. Now you see it will print answer is this. Now all this thing is coming with this. So to get rid of this, you have to apply one more thing. Say console dot read key. Okay, now when I run this again, so you see that the thing which is coming is not coming. Now I'm assuming that you know all the thing like integer, string, bool, you know all these things.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm not going into that. That what is that data type? That it's integer, it can be string, like you can say here, mm, say string anything, you can say string test, and how to declare this. You can just write anything in this. Even you can write cleared with this. So it is a string. It is not taken as integer. Suppose if I do this, so this is a again a string. Now suppose if I say string test one, okay, and say this is one. I will say console dot write line mm, answer one is plus uh, test say say test plus test one. Yeah. So tell me now what should it print? Test plus test one.
51.
Yes, it will not add up. It will answer one is 51. So it will attach to that. It will not add. Okay. So you have to be very careful when you do these types of thing that suppose let's test one and say we have one integer a is equal to 10 and there is b, yeah, int b equal to can say 40. Okay, now say uh, console dot write line and say a plus b plus test. Now what should it give me right then? What will be the answer of this statement? Just try it.
Yep. So I'm just thinking, so it was 505.
Just see what it will give us to us. Yes, 505. Okay, now suppose if I say if I delete this and say now what will the answer?
So it will be test one, right? So 11040.
You are saying yeah, what you're saying? What will the answer?
11040.
Okay, let's run this. Yes, absolutely right. So you understand that when I'm adding string plus int, then they both act as string. Okay, so when I am adding the integer with string, so they both act as string. They don't both act as integer, but they both act as string. Okay, so This is a good thing that you know that string, if you add string with integer, then it will be string. Result will be string. Now suppose if I do test1 plus test, so what will be the answer now?
151040.
Okay, again the correct thing, that 151040. Okay, now if I do, now what will the answer?
I 50
Pardon? What will the answer?
1550 1550.
1550. Okay, now if I run this, which is again a correct answer, 1550. Okay, so this is a good thing that you should know about that string and integers. So when we work with the brackets, when we work with the, can say, square brackets, so it integer plus integer, it is adding, and when we are adding this integer with this string, so it will act as a string. Okay, so this is a good thing that you have known about this. Now say, so say arrays. Okay, so I will add. Now when you see that I am just running this project, it is giving me that something console console app is there, console window is there, and I'm getting the result. Now suppose if I add one more class. Okay, now I will say array study. Okay, now say I have to uh, add public static void main. Okay, now suppose say there is a thing string username. It can be anything. Suppose like this. Okay, now say string password. Okay, now it can be, say, password, then string email. It can be something like uh, say xxx@gmail.com. Okay, and say one more thing, string zip code, and it can be any integer. Okay, now sometimes what you have a lot of data. This is a little bit of data, like it is data of one person. Suppose you have data of 10 persons, or you can say 100 persons. Okay, so what will we do? We will store this data in an array. Okay, like you can say arrays. What array is basically a memory location where you can store multiple values. Now if you say two-dimensional array, the how to declare that array is like string, sorry, string, and say x equal to new string, and inside this 3 comma 4. So if I say, now if I hover over this, it says this is how you declare an array. If you see what is two-dimensional array, I say basically this is an array. Okay, now here you have The first is your username, then password, then your email, and then your zip code. So in the first, you will kept the data of first person. Like I have declared over here, mm, like this one. Suppose here, here, then password. Suppose this is a password, and suppose this is @gmail.com, and here you have your zip code 123 anything is there. Now this is the data for the first person. Now similarly data for the second person, similarly data for the third person, similarly for the fourth person, and so on. So array can kept multiple data. Okay, now in the coming classes we will be reading this data from Excel and put it in the arrays. Okay, so basically when we put data in the array, you can read this array like suppose here I say uh, console dot write line. I will say x dot get length and say 0. Okay, now what will it give me? I will tell you in a short time. So x dot get length 1. Now suppose if I want to run this, suppose if I want to run this, now for a time being, I will just do it in this as a string. Sorry, here I have to change it as int. Okay, yeah. So now if I want to run this, I will say run this. It will give me an error that would like to continue. I will say no. Program has more than one entry point defined. Now, if you see, this is a main method, and here is a main method. So main method is a starting point of any project. Now, if here you have two classes and both of the classes have main method. So for this, to make this as a startup class, right click on our project, go to properties, then here startup object, just click on this and click on array study and close this. Now, if I run this again, now you see 3 and 4. So 3 and 4. This is 3 is a, if I say here, this is a row length, the number of rows. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here I'm 4, 5. So I can use it here 5 and the 4. 4 is a column length. Okay, now here if you see, yeah, this is a 4. The second is the column length. See, this is a zeroth index. This is the first index. So I have my row length and this is my column length. Now, what it will give me that I can go for the for loop. And I think you know about the for loop. Yes, Pawan?
Yeah, yeah.
You know about the for loop now. So I will say int h is less than 0, say h less than x dot get length 0 and say h plus plus. Sorry. x dot get length, and this one. Hmm, where it is giving me error. H is less than x dot get length 0. Hmm, and say h plus.
Where have you defined h?
Here int, I'm declaring this is a, you can say, why it is giving me error for, say if I say h is less than 10, giving me error. Why? Let's start with again 4 for int I equal to 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus. Okay. Now if I say at I is less than x dot get length 0. Okay. Now what it will be here. I have 5 rows now. I know that because I have to read this data, so I have to know that what are the number of rows. Here I'm getting the number of rows. Okay. Now inside this there will be one more loop for int, say b equal to say 0, b is less than get length 1, b plus plus. Okay. Now here what it will give me, console write line x ip. So what will it do? First it will go to the row. Now when I here, now again it will go inside the for loop, it will go for the columns. Okay, now then what will it do? First it will read this, read this, read this, read this, then it will come out of this loop. Now again the I will increment by 1, then it will go for the second row. Then again here inside the for loop, again it will read this one, this one, this one, this one, then again come out of the loop, this inside loop. Again it will go to the third row increment, and again this one, this one, this one, this one, then again come out of the internal for loop. So this way I can read all the data from my array. Okay. Now this is a good thing, but what is the drawback of this? What is the drawback of this array? That I cannot use this array. The thing is, the string array cannot hold integer data, and integer array cannot hold string data. If the array is string, the whole values has to be in the string. If the array is in the integer, then all the values should be in integer. So this zip code cannot be placed inside the string array, and the, you can say string values cannot be stored inside the integer array, or you can say vice versa. I'm again writing string array cannot hold integer values. Okay? And say integer array cannot hold string values. So for solving this problem, we have something which is known as object. Say object here and name it as data, anything you want to name it, and say new object, and here we will declare the number of rows. We will not declare the number of columns. We will declare only the number of rows here. And for each row, we will declare the number of columns every time. Okay, here 5, I'm again repeating 5 is number of rows. Right now, you have to just know about that there is an, can say, array, or can say object. This is known as object array. If I hover over this, if you see class system dot object, okay, this is the object. You can say class system dot object. It can hold multiple values. It can hold integer, it can hold string, it can hold boolean, it can hold, you can say, bits, it can hold any data type and any number of rows. It- the you can say advantage is, you can say, it can hold multiple data types. This is a very good question for the interview. They say that suppose we have an array and we have an integer value inside for that array. So we cannot do that. So how can we use such thing so that it can hold multiple values? So answer is you can use object. Object can hold multiple data types. Okay. So this thing is very important, like what is object, what is an object array, so why we use object array, what is the problem. They can ask you that what is the problem that we are using object array. Okay? So this is the thing, that why are we using the object array, that it can hold the multiple data types. Okay, now say, okay, now you know what is constructor.
Yeah.
So what is constructor?
Don't know to put it theoretically, but using a constructor, you can have the parameters you can define.
Mm-hmm. So why we build constructors?
So using constructor, that's what I think you can define some parameters in it.
But I am already defining some parameters like string, username, string, password, string, email. So why constructor? So first of all, we will see that how to declare constructor. How can you declare constructor? If you know, just how to write a constructor.
How to write a constructor?
Yes.
You put it as, for example, so let's say you're having a bank account something. Okay, let me
Now,
give an example.
suppose if I want to make, suppose there is a new class, I will make a new class. Say add new class and say name it as car. Okay. Now say, if I say uh, s- suppose it has some string model. Okay. Say int price and say int wheels. Okay, I will come to constructor as well, but right now there is some class known as some variables are there, and we have a main method for every class, public static void main. Then okay, so mm, say okay, uh, say we have main function. Now say we have thing, there is function called public void start. Okay, and say we have one more function, say public void start, sorry, accelerate, as the car can accelerate as well. Okay, now these both are non-static function, this as well and this as well. Okay, say now how to create an object of the class. Suppose if I want to create the object of this class, I can say new car. This is how you will create a object of the class. Now again say car, say C1 equal to new car. Now what is this C1?
You created an object.
Yeah, what is this C1? I have when I started this, I said that this is that and this is that. So what is C1?
A new car, an object of new car or something.
No, this is an object. When I started the class, I have told you that when you create the object of the class, the object of that class is created like this.
You are saying where is that, right?
Yes, that C1 is the reference to the object, that my object is lying over here, and C1 is reference to the object. C1 is not an object. C1 is the reference to the object, that my object is lying there. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when I make a object, what will happen? All the non-static stuff. This is a very important point, that all the non-static stuff will reside over there. And what is non-static stuff in my case? It is model, price, wheels, then start, then accelerate. When I create the object, all the non-static stuff, say like model, okay, say price, say wheels, and as well as non-static functions, which are start, okay, and say accelerate. When we make an object, all the non-static stuff will reside over there. Okay, and again I'm repeating, car C1 equal to new car. This is the object, new car, and C1 is reference to the object, that that object is lying over there in the memory. Okay, now this you can say, again I'm repeating, that when I will create the object, all the non-static stuff, all non-static stuff will reside in the object. Okay, now I know that in this car object, every car has got four wheels, whether it is Ford, whether it is Tata, whether it's a Mercedes, whether it's Volkswagen. I know that every car has got four wheels. So, what will I do? I will make this int wheels to my static int wheels. Okay. Now, if you see P1 dot, you can access price model, you can say accelerate, or you can say start. You can access all the non-static, but you cannot access wheels directly because wheel is now static. Now, what is static? I say static int wheels equal to 4 because I know that every car has got four wheels. So what will happen after doing this? This wheel is coming out of this because now it is become the static and all the non-static stuff will reside over there. So it will come over here and delete from this space, and it will create a space in memory or in the class, you can say, where every object can access this because this is a common thing. Wheel is always equal to 4. Now whether I have my second object, that is, you can say C2, and again C2 is a reference to the object, that this is the second object, and all the non-static stuff will there. So so this again, but wheels again remain the same because for the second object, the car, the wheels has to be same, that it will remain 4. Okay, so what I have done, I have make wheels as a static, as a common variable. Now I will say that p1 dot model equal to, say, the 2000 model, and say c1 dot price equal to 100, and I can say c1 dot start and c1 dot accelerate. So same thing I can do for my next object, which is c2 equal to new car, and I can say c2 dot model equal to, can say, 2005 model, and say c2 dot price equal to 200, and again c2 dot start and c2 dot accelerate. So whenever make a object, the all the non-static stuff will reside over there. Okay, so how can I use the wheels? I can say here, I can just say console dot write line and say car dot wheels, because wheels is now a part of the class. It is not a non-static stuff anymore because it will give me the same thing here and same thing here, because it will give me 4 here, 4 here, and in the third, if I make a third object, then it will give also the same, that is, you can say 4, 4 here, 4 here. If I suppose make a new object, again the model will change, price will change, okay, but it will remain the same, that is 4. So this is how you declare the object, and inside the object all the non-static stuff will reside over there. Okay. Now I will tell you one more thing. If you have time, you are, I think so, you can go for the 10 to 15 minutes more.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So suppose for that I will make a new class. Hmm, I think so. These are the things that this is the basic things, okay, that we should know. Okay. So I say we'll make something like a point. Okay. Say int x, say int y. Then we have our main method public static void main. Now say I will make a object of this class point p equal to new point p. Okay. Now I say p dot x, because I can x is a I can use p dot x equal to say 10 and say p dot y equal to 20. Now we say console dot write line p dot x plus then p dot y. Okay. Now I will make, oh, first of all let me just say console dot read key. Now I want to swap the values. I want that p dot x in when coming in you can say in the function, say public static void swap. Here I will say int a, int b, say int temp equal to a, okay, then a equal to b, and then b equal to temp. Okay. Now I will use this function here, say swap p dot x, p dot y, and after that here. Now what I'm doing is this function. Now suppose I'm here, yeah. What I want to do, suppose uh, say p dot x. Now what p dot x? Say p dot x equal to uh, 10 and p dot y equal to 20. And when I use the swap function, after it should be p dot x equal to 20 and p dot y equal to 10. And what I am doing in my function, that first I am declaring a temporary variable. I am giving the variable of a in temporary variable, then giving the value of a b. Now what is happening, I will tell you. Mm, here, yeah. Now say uh, suppose a, mm, that is here. Now when I passing this p dot x, p dot y, int a equal to p dot x and int b equal to p dot y. Now p dot x is 10. Now int a equal to 10. If I say here and here. A equal to 10 means A is referencing towards where 10 is lying, and B equal to 20 means that B is referencing towards where 10 is lying. Here A equal to 10 means this, and B equal to 20 means this. Now what I'm doing, I'm declaring a temporary variable equal to A in this uh, step. Temp equal to A. Now what will it do? Temp will starting point towards where A is pointing, that is 10. And if you see over here, now B equal to 20, B is pointing towards 20. Now in the next step, when I say A equal to B, now what will do? A will stop referencing towards 10 and start referencing towards where B is pointing. Now B is pointing towards 20. So A will start referencing towards 20. Okay. And in the next step, B equal to temp. Now B will start referencing towards where temp is referencing. Okay. So here B is starting from where temp is referencing toward 10. Now B will stop referencing towards 20 and it will start referencing towards 10. So now A becomes 20 and B becomes 10. So now if I say, now what I have done, you understand that what this function will do? This will swap the values between A and B.
Mhm.
Okay. Now let's run this and see that whether it is swapping or not. Now first of all, I have to make this as my startup class. Right click, go to properties, say startup object, uh, point. Okay, close it and run it. So 10 20 10 20. So it is not swapping. But suppose here, what I will do, I will say console dot write line and say A B, and say here I will just mark star so that we can see that it is star. And here after this I will do this. Now if I run this again, now you see 10 20 20 10. So it is changing, but p dot x and p dot y is not changing. Okay. So let us make one more function and say public static void and say swap well, and you can name it as any. Here what will I do? I will pass this and I will do the same thing. Int temp equal to p dot x and p dot x equal to p dot y and p dot y equal to temp. Okay, now what will I do? I will just uh, comment this one and use my new function swap well, in which I will pass my reference. Okay, now I'm not using this function, I'm using this function. Now if I run this, now it is changing 10 20 20 10. So can you tell me the difference between these two? Why it is not doing that? This function is not doing anything, but this function has done it. Just try it.
Yeah, I'm just checking here.
Mhm.
Idea.
No idea. The thing is, in this function, what is P? P is reference to the object. I'm passing the whole reference. So thing what is doing, if you see when I doing this, it is changing between A and B. But what I have done, say here, say P dot X equal to 10 and P dot Y equal to 20. Now what I have done, I have passing the values as int A and int B. The swapping is done between these two. Swapping has been done. If you see, swapping has been done, but swapping has been done between these two. It has nothing to do with this because they have passing their values. But in the second function, I have passed the reference, which is P. So it has taken the reference here. This is known as call by reference, and it is known as call by value. Okay, so I have passed the reference here, which is P. So if you see that P is the object, P is the reference, that where P dot X is lying, where P dot Y is lying, I'm passing the reference of that object. So exchanging is done between these two. No, no, not now between these two. There is no nothing as int A or int B because I have passed that particular reference to my function. So swapping is done between P dot X and P dot Y. But in the first functions, I have passed the value. Here, P dot X, P dot Y, I have passed the value, int A and int B. The value has been
Mhm.
passed, but here I haven't passed the reference. That's why it has worked for me in the second function. Okay, so these are the things which you should know when you study C sharp and some of the basic concepts. Right now, I'm not going for the constructor. You can declare constructor as the same class name. Here you can say public point. Okay, so this is known as constructor. This is a constructor. Why we should do this? You will get to know. I'm not going too deep into this right now because it will get confused for you that what is constructor. Now you know that how to declare constructor and why should we declare constructor? We should uh, get to know in the coming classes when we should work on this. Like this, we have I have given you example that this is call by value, call by reference, and I've given you the example of static thing like these are non-static things, and when we declare the object of the class, all the non-static stuff will reside in the object. When I declare one more, again all the non-static stuff, but wheel is common, that is wheels equal to 4. So it will be it now wheels is a part of the class. It is not a part of an object anymore. When I declare it static, it will become the part of the class, not the object anymore.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
these little things are very important because when we sit in the interview can ask you that when we I declare the variable as static in the class, so it will be the part of the object or it will be the part of the class. So you say it will be the part of the class, not an object. Only non-static stuff will reside in the object. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so uh, I don't know when will our next class. I will ask Ashish about the class, and I hope that I am very much clear in the things because I have started. Can say I have skipped my 2 to 3 classes because of you that you have said to me that you are comfortable in these things. So I have skipped over the 2 classes and started with the static, non-static, constructors, object, then reference to the object, then call by reference, call by value, how when we declare the object, all the non-static stuff will reside over there, and how to make that particular variable as static, then that static variable is a part of the class. It is not a part of the object anymore. So these are the little things which we will discuss in today's class. Uh, I will pass you the recording. Okay, and I think I don't know. You have talked to Ashish about the next class.
Ashish told me like, we'll have two demo sessions and then we can take it forward. So I believe
Yeah,
this is our first demo session, and
yeah.
I'm
This is
looking
yeah.
forward for the next one, and then we take it here.
Okay, okay. So I think so. You like the way that I have teach it to you, and you know some. I think you get something new things today. That these are the things that these are the basic things in C sharp, or this is a basic concept of every language that I am telling you about the static and non-static stuff is the concept of every language.
Yeah, Abhijit, I really appreciate, and definitely whatever you have taught, there was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of clarity, the way you go about,
Mm-hmm.
you have great level of patience. Yeah, so I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then we will. I don't know when will the next class then talk to the Ashish regarding this. I think so. You are. I think he said to me that he doesn't have your number as well.
No,
You are
yeah, so
chat.
he can forward on the email, so he has my email. So I
Yeah.
look for the next demo session and then we decide. Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on you only that when you want the next class.
Okay, yeah. So tomorrow I have a couple of interviews, so I
Mhm.
would say better we have it on Tuesday.
Okay. Tuesday work for me. So just if you want just chat with Ashish, you can chat with Ashish on the I think so when you go to online and Selenium training. I don't know which website are you on. I think so you are go to this website and
Yeah.
yeah you have done chatting through this. Okay, go with that as well. If you want to
Yeah.
share your number, you can share with me or share with Ashish as well. Okay, then he will tell you, or just what are the discussions between you two. He will just tell me that I think so. Tuesday is better for you, and Tuesday
Mm.
at which time? You are in GMT, I think so.
Yeah. So same time is fine with me.
Okay, I will definitely mail you on Tuesday. So we will meet on Tuesday.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a
Okay.
lot for your
Uh,
time.
Yeah, just before coming to the next class, just a little bit learn. Can say you can look for constructors. Not go too deep. I'm already telling you, don't go too deep because we don't require too deep things. Just
Yeah.
like this, I have give it to you that how to declare a constructor. You can declare constructor like this one public point. Yeah, the same name as the class name. Okay,
Yep.
just a little
Sure.
bit of point. Just don't go too deep. I'm again telling you, don't go too deep. Just say why we declare constructor. What is the help of declaring constructor? Okay. So we will do some like we will study a real world scenario that we have given something. I can we will discuss in the next class that what we're going. We will go for the interface. Okay,
Mm. Mm.
interface inheritance. It's same thing. You will get to know then we when we do some examples. I'm not here to give you theoretical knowledge. I'm here to give you a practical knowledge as well. This is a
Yep.
nobody will tell you about this method, call by reference, that you are passing the reference. What is being done, you have been doing it, that how the swapping is done. A equal to B, B equal to C, C equal to D. Now suppose I have given you example. Suppose if I say here, say A, sorry, say int A equal to 10, say int B equal to 20, int C equal to 30, and int D equal to 40. Now I will say console dot write line and say A, then say B, sorry, mm, then say then say C, then plus uh, D. Sorry. Okay. Now say plus plus. Okay. Now what will I do? And say plus. I say A equal to B, B equal to C, C equal to D, and D equal to A. Okay. Now after this, what will the values of A, B, C, D? Just try and look and just if you can just try it. After this, what will the value of A, B, C, and D?
I think it will be like A is 20,
Mm-hmm.
B is 30,
Mm-hmm.
C is 40, and D is 20.
And D is
20.
V is 20. If I run this, yes, 20, 30, 40, 20. So you understand the concept of how we interchange the values.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a basic thing. When you start using your mind in that way, your logic becomes very fresh, very new. And if you have the logic, you can do anything. The syntax may be different in different languages, but logic remains the same. If you have the logic, you can do anything.
Yep.
Okay, okay,
Yep.
Pavan. Then we will meet, and I will definitely pass the recording on your email. This the recording link on your email.
Yep.
Okay, this is a simple YouTube link. First two classes are the YouTube link. Then if you continue, then we after that, if you say, suppose if you join the batch here, say you have this batch recording button with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and here you can watch the all recordings. What we have done in day one, day two, and one thing more. I will tell all my students whatever the we, things we are doing day by day, just maintain the Excel sheet with you. That suppose if you say day, okay, then say topics, whatever topics we have done, and important points. Like I have writing over here, like you say here. Now, these points, these points, but because whenever you go for the interview, you should just go through these points and it will be all created what we have done. And suppose if you stuck somewhere in after for 1 month, 2 months, so you can just read that topic that what in the topic in which you are, you can say stuck. Okay, we have done that topic in the eighth class. Okay, I will watch the eighth class directly. Otherwise, you have to just check all the videos again and again.
Yeah.
Okay, just maintain the Excel sheet if you continue with me. I
Yeah.
suggest you.
Sure.
Okay, okay then, Pawan. Then we will meet on Tuesday at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Okay,
Okay then.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Yeah. Bye.